Welcome to the KameSennin School, the best place for reviews, breakdowns, and discussions for all things Dragon Ball. Here, this is my review and breakdown of Episode 8 of Dragon Ball Daima, called Tamagami. The episode starts with the Tamagami 3 doing his fancy pose and introducing himself like we've seen so many characters in Dragon Ball before. He raises his hammer and he charges at Goku, and Goku begins dodging the attacks. The Tamagami uses his hammer similar to Thor, and he's able to throw it and recall it back to him. As the two continue to clash, Goku comes up with some ingenious ways to use his power pole to keep the Tamagami off balance. At one point, Goku goes between his legs, extends the pole, and hits the Tamagami's calf, causing him to fall to his knees. And then Goku goes for an overhead strike, but the Tamagami blocks it easily. The two comment about each other's skills before clashing again. At this point, a crowd is gathered around the arena, and they are in shock that a child is able to face off against the Tamagami. Pansy comments on Goku's abilities, and Kaioshin mentions about him being a fighting genius and that he's already acclimated himself to the weight and air of the demon realm. As they continue to fight, Tamagami 3 tries to crush Goku with his hammer into a mountain. As the hammer begins to overwhelm Goku, Goku goes Super Saiyan and he destroys the hammer. It's at that point he puts away his power pole and he asks Tamagami 3 to get serious. This part of the fight reminds me of Goku versus Vegeta from the Saiyan saga, which I'm going to comment more on later on. But just looking at the location of the fight, as well as some things that are getting ready to happen, including the way the fight starts, with both fighters patiently waiting before something triggers one of them. In this case, it's the hammer falling and Tamagami 3 attacks. He's basically firing ki blasts around Goku in the arena. Goku's dodging and running across the walls. And then Tamagami 3 powers up using an attack similar to what we've seen from Android 16 in the video games, where he essentially fires energy into the ground, which causes explosions all around, including at Goku's feet. Goku flies into the sky and then powers up one of the best looking Kamehamehas in all of Dragon Ball. Tamagami 3 begins to launch his own attack, and the two of them begin to have a beam struggle, which again is structured very similar to Goku versus Vegeta. Goku's beam is overpowering Tamagami 3, but it's still not enough. And then at that point, similar to the Saiyan saga, where Goku had to increase his Kaioken to win against Vegeta, in this fight, Goku powers up to Super Saiyan 2 and then overcomes the Tamagami. Tamagami uses what's left of his strength to redirect the blast upward, and then Goku at the same time charges in with an elbow, similar to how he took out Raccoon. It's really vicious to watch. It's probably one of the best attacks and finishers I've seen Goku use, and I hope they put it in a game or something at some point. At that point, Tamagami 3 goes down and gives up. Everyone cheers. But before Goku can get to Dragon Ball, Tamagami says they have one final battle. They head over to the area where he was waiting for Goku initially, or waiting for a challenger initially, and he creates a bunch of cups in his image, and he places the Dragon Ball in one of the cups. At that point, he starts doing the standard cup gambling game where you rotate cups really quickly, and somebody has to guess where the item is under which one. Once he's done, he asks Goku where the Dragon Ball is, and Goku confirms that the ball is not in any of the cups because Tamagami 3 threw the ball away before he finished spinning all the cups. Tamagami congratulates Goku and talks about him being such a fair fighter, and everyone celebrates, and he gives Goku the Dragon Ball. As they're walking away, Glorio then calls Dr. Irinsu and reports on the events to her. When the gang is in the ship flying away, we actually see Tamagami 3 practicing trying to do his own Kamehameha, just again showing that he is a martial artist and he is trying to better himself as well. Cut to Goma and Degasu, who are again watching the Buu saga footage before they realize that Irinsu was there and can be seen taking a piece of Majin Buu as he was regenerating from Vegeta's sacrifice attack. We are then shown a floating island with a tree. The view and look of it has very similar vibes to Virus' planet, in my opinion, and it has like a small house or hut on there. Dr. Rensu goes inside the house, and we are introduced to Marba. Marba is a Majin witch who is wearing the insignia of Majins that we saw Boo, Deborah, and Vegeta having during the Boo saga. So already this tells us that something's different about her because we don't see that symbol from other Majin characters. She's stirring her cauldron and trying to recreate a new Majin Buu. Now this is a bit of a retcon. Originally, it's funny. Originally, Toriyama said that Bippity created Majin Buu. Then years later, in an interview, he said, "Well, Bippity didn't actually create Majin Buu. He conjured him up. Majin Buu was already in existence, and Bippity essentially took control of him. So now we have basically like both origins tied together, where Majin Buu was still created. He was created by this witch Marba, who created him for Bibbidi, and then Bibbidi used him. And then she talks about how Majin Buu was wreaking havoc in the demon realm. So I wonder if, some of the stuff we saw with like the Kaioshins and everything like that, if all that now essentially took place in the demon realm, as well as some of the damage that was done in the demon realm and not just the regular universe. Because we know, if I recall correctly, Majin Buu destroyed, a bunch of planets and stuff. So now we can say that he was, destroying the demon realm. Possibly, if they really want to tie it to like other Dragon Ball properties, they could say that he may have destroyed some other universes completely. That would be crazy because again, we know that in Dragon Ball Super, we're introduced to all the different universes. We know some of the universes were deleted. So what if they were deleted because of their failure to stop Majin Buu or something to that extent? There's a lot of cool things that can be done with that. But anyway, the new Buu she wants to make is going to be focused on being controllable because that was the biggest flaw in Majin Buu. The fact that he could not be controlled and was not able to be controlled or influenced until he started absorbing, individuals and getting their personalities on him. As the cauldron boils, we see the image of Boo's many forms, and Dr. Enzu spits into the cauldron because apparently that's how the element of control is going to be initiated. Her spit is going to cause him to, I guess, imprint on her. We find out here that Dr. Renzu's plan is to become the Supreme Demon King and use her new Buu as her muscle. And if all else fails, the Demon Dragon Balls she'll use to ensure her reign. So that's really interesting, really cool to see. So we know her plan now. And I wonder how much of her plan does Glorio know? Since he is working for her, but he may not know all the details, and that may not be something that he is down with, or he may think it's going to be better. There's just a lot of great ways this can go. From there, we get King Kadad. He calls Hybis and lets him know that Goku has the first Dragon Ball. Vegeta and the gang are shocked. The king also tells Hybis to go ahead and get a hotel. And Hybis is hilarious, especially as a straight man. At one point, Bulma asked him about mud wine that he was talking about. And frankly, he says it tastes like mud. It's just really funny how he's so straight. Hybis is also surprised to learn that the Earth has Dragon Balls. And then he makes a fool out of Vegeta in another straight man moment where he ignores Vegeta and refuses to answer his question, basically talking about the way Vegeta acts like he's a king when he ain't nothing. And then, everybody starts laughing, especially Bulma. And that's where the episode ended. So, episode 8 of Daima was probably the best episode of the series so far. It felt like a lot took place from the standpoint of there was a great battle, which is wonderful. Because one thing with Dragon Ball, I think we all love the combat of Dragon Ball, but we also know that there are times when fights are not done as well or they drag out, and that's something I was a little concerned about. I mean, the fights in Daima have been great so far, but they were grunt fights. So when you get to the first real boss, what was it going to be like? So seeing this fight, only be an episode, which is cool. It didn't feel like it was cut short or anything. It felt like it was the right length. I'm sure later on some of the fights will be longer, but it was a good fight, and then all the good information, the good plot developments and stuff that we got from everything with Dr. Rensu. That was really cool to see. And it's just, again, really interesting to find out like what she's going to do, what she has planned. What is this new Majin Buu going to look like? What is it going to be like? It's just a lot of exciting things as this story is going in. And with it being, a limited number of episodes, as well as already set and completed, we know that things aren't going to get dragged out. At least, hopefully not. So I'm really excited to see where everything goes. Again, this is probably my favorite episode of the series, and I hope this is going to be a point where everything is going forward is going to be around this level or higher. That's always my favorite feeling in Dragon Ball. When Dragon Ball, like each arc gets to a certain point where it's just like consistent great episode or great chapter after great chapter. And I'm hoping that this might be that line for Daima, especially if they're saying Daima is only going to be 20 episodes. Because then we're right here about the midway point, and you're telling me, like, okay, this is when it gets really good. Yeah, that's going to feel really good. But anyway, sound off in the comments below with your thoughts about the episode and what you hope to see. Thank you for taking the time to watch and listen, and have a great day.